Should be. Yes, sir. Should be live. Should be live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Getting ourselves all set up here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. All right.
Yes.
Getting ourselves all set up here, but we hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. Just getting ourselves all set up here. All set up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alrighty. Let's get ourselves set and ready to go. Mm-hmm. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Okay. Alright. We're just doing our thing, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting ourselves all set up. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. What you guys got planned for this Friday, and what you guys got planned for this coming weekend? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Yes, sir. Yeesh. Me personally, I'm probably gonna spend time with friends this weekend. Yeah. So that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. And then after that, you obviously know we're going to be back at it again. You know how we do. Let's see here. All right. All right. But yeah, we're just getting ourselves all set up. So what you guys up to? What you guys got going on? Yeah. Gotta be chilling tonight, you know what I mean? Chilling. Yeesh. Gotta be chilling, you know, making the moolah like we normally do. And then after that, gonna have a nice, chill, restful weekend. And then we back at it again. You know how we do. Yeesh. Yeesh, 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 yeesh. Alright. Alright, there we go. Okay. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Okay. There we go. Alright. Yeesh. Oh, let's get the news up here. The news. There we go. The news. Yes, sir. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay. So, let's take a look over here. Let's get ourselves all set up on the YouTubes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's go here. Alright. Okay, take this. Go over Mya. Bop. Right there. Boom. Get this set up right here. Get myself all set up over here. About right there. And set this up. Alright. There we go. Alright. Get this set up here. Set this up over here. Boom. Alright. Alright. There we go. Alright, we should be good. We should be set to go. Alright, let's get this intro started real quick. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, aka the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around in the tall weeds, in the high trees, in the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Sometimes she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she likes to regular ski. Other times she likes to go to RBs. They have the meats. And of course, sometimes she likes to go watch videos of puppies and kitties. Shoot her out the cannon. She goes, wee! And then also to top it off, we throw in the stock market. She finds them ABCDs. She was able to find ORIS, MRM, CLIK, and BTBD. We call her DBL Moms.
Hey!
Yeesh. And she also likes to steal my Chinese, primarily the lo mein. Yeah. There we go. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Good. Hope you guys are doing well. Hi. Say hello to the people, DBL Moms.
Hello to the people, DBL Moms.
Yes, sir. Hello to the people. Hello, hello, hello. Yeesh. All right.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. All right. So let's take a look at some of the stonks that we got going on here. But before we do, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share.
Remember to share.
Because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. There's quite a lot of baggers, ladies and gentlemen. Quite a lot of baggers out there. We called ORIS. Ran up a nice 110%. MRM 102%. And then there were a couple of runners as well. CLIK 40%, BTBD 38%, SOUX 52%, SGBX 49%, BINI 26%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Just made different, ladies and gentlemen. Just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. All right. So, that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on for today. All right. Let's see here. All right. We're all set to go. All right, so let's take a look at some stonks here. First things first, we got MRM. MRM seem to have been moving a little bit, quite a little bit. Let's take a look over there. Let's see what MRM's been doing. Mike, Romeo, Mike. Let's see. All right, there we go. So, this stonk currently had quite a bit of an uptrend. Now it's a bit consolidated, right? It was at one point above the VWAP. Now it's a bit below the VWAP, so we got that going on right there. RSI is not overbought or oversold in the RSI as of now. However, it was overbought earlier in the day. Let's take a look over here. Let's get some support and resistance lines going on up in here. Boom, right there. And then, of course, boom, right there. All right. So we got that over meow, one over meow. Actually, better yet, look at it all the way over. Yeah, there we go. So we got support at 110, 141, 166, 183. And then, of course, you got resistance at 201, 222, and 257. So it has to hold above 183, break through that 201 mark for it to be so much smexy to me. Then after that, it has to break through 222 and then 257, ladies and gentlemen. 257. That is the end-all, be-all, in my opinion. That is the end-all, be-all, in my opinion, right there for this stunk. So as far as that's concerned, right now, let's take a look at. Let's get some graffiti pencil activated. Let's get the graffiti pencil activated right here. Yeesh. Okay, so right now what we got going on is it shot up like crazy right there. Had a bit of a descending wedge or meow. Ended up curling its way back up. Boom. Had a pennant over here. Boom and boom right there. Shot its way back up here again. Boom. All right. Another pennant. And then again shot its way up. Bop. And then a bit of a descending wedge over here. So we'll see what happens. Can it curl? Potentially. Let's see. Let's check out that floating volume for MRM. So let's check out that floating volume right there. Check out that floating volume. Float is reasonable at 6.02 million. Volume is at 22 million and change. And it does have some news that came out yesterday that MRM joins the world network embracing next generation proof of human concept led by ChatGPT creator Sam Altman. All right, so they got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they got going on right there. All right, so they're doing all that fun stuff. They are doing all that cool stuff right there. It looks like it's a Japanese company, up 63%, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see what happens with the stunk. It does have the volume. It does have the volume because the volume's a lot higher than the float. So that's pretty good. So can it potentially curl? Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Oh, we did a video on MRM? Ooh, we did. Okay, oh, let me write that down. Make sure that we know that we did a video on that last night. All right. So there was a video that we did actually on MRM last night, ladies and gentlemen. We did a video on that last night. So that's pretty cool. We did a video of that. MRM now, which has since run up 102% since then. But also, ladies and gentlemen, now it's currently up 60%, but it did have that nice run up 102%. So it could potentially curl. Maybe we'll have to see. Currently, it is leaning towards being oversold in the RSI, so we'll see what happens with the stunk, right? But let's take a look at another stunk right here. SPRU, Sierra Papa Romeo Uniform. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, so not a lot of volume, a lot of indecisive wicks going on over here. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 15.56 million, so it's a little bit heavy. Volume is 1.98 million, so the volume's a lot lower than the float. Looks like it's forming a bit of a top tail over here. We don't like the top tails, DBL moms. We like the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Currently shooting its way upward over, yeah, boom. All right, but as of now, a lot of indecisive wicks, a lot of choppiness, and this big old thing over here. I don't really trust it so much, but it does have some news that Spruce Power, which is the name of the company, signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar agreement to sell renewable energy credits in New Jersey. So that's what they got going on. That is what they got going on right there. All right. SPRU up 38%. So we'll see what happens with the stunk, but quite frankly, the volume is only 2.5 million and the float is 15.56 million. So we'll have to see what happens with it. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens over meow. All right, but let's check out some other stuff. Let's check out ORIS. ORIS, Oscar, Romeo, India, Sierra. Let's see what they got. Oh, yeah, we did a video on ORS. Yes, we did. This morning, yes, sir. We did do a video on that this morning. Yes, we did. All right. So, ORS, we did a video on that this morning. It ran up a nice 110%, excuse me. Yep. So, ORIS, we did a video for that one this morning. Ran up a nice 110%. Let's see what happens over here. Let's take a look. So, looks like ORIS made an A to B, B to C, C to D. Right, over meow. Right?
Sure.
And then made a pennant right over Mya. Boom, right there. So now it needs to curl up to break that pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy. To me, it is not above the VWAP as of now, but it was above the VWAP a little bit earlier. So we'll see what happens over there. We shall see what happens over there. No news of noting for ORIS. Again, had a nice run up 110%. So we'll see what happens there. Let's take a look at the float. The float is 12.3 million, which is a little bit heavy, but nothing crazy. Volume is 364 million, so we got that going on. The volume is a lot higher than that of the float, which is good. That's good. That's not a bad thing. All right. It was a bit overbought in the RSI. It had a little bit of a history earlier, but now it's not overbought in the RSI. It's not overbought or oversold. It is right in the middle, so we'll see what happens with that. But right now, it's got to break through that pennant for it to be so much maxi to me. Let's get some resistance. Let's get some support and resistance lines going on over here. Let's get some support and resistance lines. Bop right there, and bop right there. Okay, let's see what we got going on over here. What do we have? What do we have? Okay, let's see. So we got support at 9 cents, support at 11 cents, support at 13 cents, 14 cents, and then 16 cents right over Mya. Has to break through that 17-cent mark and then also break through that 20-cent mark for it to be so much maxi to Mya. Otherwise, it's man, you know how it is. You know how it is. Let's get some. Let's check out the float and volume again. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Again, float is 12.3 million. Volume is 365 million. So we got that going on right there. That is a good volume to have. Can it potentially curl? Maybe. Hopefully it breaks through the pennant. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check out VERB in the meantime because ORIS does look like it's trying to curl, but it's not there yet. So let's take a look at VERB, Victor Echo Romeo Bravo. Let's see what they got going on right here. All right. So VERB has some news actually that number one, they had some expected earnings that was put up 5:31 p.m. or a.m. Eastern time, and then we got Verb Technology Company successfully, which is the name of the company, closing a $558 million private placement to launch their first publicly listed TON Treasury strategy company in partnership with Kingsway Capital. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on. Let's take a look at the float volume for VERB. This doesn't look like it's much. It doesn't look like it's much in terms of float and volume because it's got a lot of indecisive wicks. It has a lot of choppiness going on over here, so let's see what happens with it. Float is actually pretty reasonable, 1.26 million, a little bit low on the float, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Volume is 108,000, so it's got very low volume. The float is low but reasonable, and the volume is extremely low. So, not feeling this one. It did have a bit of an uptrend going on over here, a little bit of an uptrend that went on over here, but it has a top tail over here and needs a lot of volume because we don't like the top tails, DBL moms. We like the bottom tails. Let's get a share party going, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's share it up, ladies and gentlemen. Share it up. Share it with your mom. Share it with your dad. Share it with your brother, your sister, your cat, your dog, your pet goldfish. I know he ain't got hands. I know he ain't got fingers, but you know what? Share it with him anyway. He got eyes, don't he? Yes. Share it with your clam. I don't know. He doesn't have eyes, but you know what? Maybe you could just take some googly eyes. Just there you go.
Okay.
Oh, come on. I was on the roll with that one.
Yes, I know.
All right. SPRU seems to be moving up a little bit. Let's take a look at SPRU. Sierra Papa Romeo uniform. Let's see what they got going on. Woo! Ray-Ban says share it with your robot. Yes, sir.
That too.
Yes, sir. Little trivia about me, actually. I know how to build robots. Didn't know that, huh?
Share it with robot.
Yeah, share it with your robot. I actually do know how to build those, so that's pretty cool. Love that. Anyways, SPRU currently up 45%. Has some news that Spruce Power, which is the name of the company, signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar agreement to sell renewable energy credits in New Jersey. This stock has a 15 million float, right, which is a bit heavy. Volume is 8.28 million and creeping upward though, so I'll give it that. But it does need more volume. It needs more volume for it to be so much maxi to Mya. Otherwise, it's just you know how it is. Because it is climbing up. The volume is climbing up a little bit. It went from 7.34 million to 8.28 million. But it's still got a ways to go before it even reaches that float. So, We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens, but the volume is starting to creep up on the stunk. So, again, it's one of those things where we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens there, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, SPRU on a bit of an uptrend here, but has a bunch of top tails, very choppy. A lot of indecisive what's going on with it. Can it potentially curl? Maybe. I mean, it is a bit overbought on the RSI, however. It is a bit overbought on the RSI. Can it curl? Maybe. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
We shall see what happens, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeesh. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $1.99. Link to join is in the description down below as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. Pick a lot of baggers a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen. Pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. And also be sure to check us out on YouTube and like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon. Ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share. Remember to share it, ladies and gentlemen. Share it up, because it helps us keep the stream going and helps us get to more people. Helps more people, get to see what's going on with the stunks. And, yeah, helps people out, man.
We got the tools.
Helps us out, helps people out. We got some tools, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Take a look at the tools over here. We got a beautiful scanner right over here. A beautiful scanner with all sorts of beautiful things here. We got the scanner, which has the change of percentage, time in which the scanner came out, whether or not the stock is moving up or down, the ticker, the price, the volume, and the float, as well as a bunch of clickable links that give information on each and every stock that the ticker is looking at. For example, right now the ticker is looking at ORIS, MRM, SPRU, SGBX, and LASR, and it has the clickable links for each one of them right there. Has all sorts of clickable links, so all you got to do is just click the link, and then all of a sudden you get access to the lovely chart for the stonk. You get access to this chart for the stonk. Then after that, to top it off, not only do you get access to the chart for the stonk, you get access to all sorts of information about it, whether it's going up, down, left, up, down, or in circles. You never know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Hopefully it's not going in circles. That would be kind of weird. But you get the movement. You get whether or not the stock is moving up. You get the float, volume, price, all that good stuff. The news on the stock. The news on the stunk go round and round. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Then afterwards, there's also this beautiful newsroom over here. This beautiful newsroom over here with all sorts of articles pertaining to the stock market, right? Gets all sorts of articles from there. And it has the article title, which is clickable. And you could actually read the article. You could read the article in there, all right? And it even has a little dissertation of what the article's about. A small one, a little summary, right? As well as clickable links in that summary as well. And then also the tickers that are affected by the news. So, for example, this one right here, this one at the bottom, Evercore ISI maintains inline on TPG, right? And then raises the price target by 60. That affects the ticker TPG. And you can actually click into that, boom, and then all of a sudden you get access to that ticker that is being affected, and it's very good for research. Very good for research, in my opinion. Let's get a share party going. Ladies and gents.
Share, everybody.
Yeah, let's share it up. Share it up.
Yes, sir.
Share it with your kangaroo.
The kangaroo.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a pet to have.
Somebody actually once said to me that kangaroos are basically deer that went to jail and started lifting weights and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
And now I can't unsee it because they are buff.
Like that. The tail is different. No antlers.
They don't need antlers.
I guess
they don't need antlers no more. When they got guns as big as
traded
those. Ooh.
Traded in the hooves for these big old flipper things, and they'll just.
Oh no, not even that. Just like they got muscle. Yeah, pure muscle mass. I need their trainer. Jeez.
How anybody can have a pet kangaroo, I don't know. Is it when you cuddle
Just
with
make sure it doesn't drop.
Make
Make sure it doesn't drop kick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I mean, you take a nasty beating from a pet like that.
It's like RKO out of nowhere. His arms ain't even that long. RKO. Don't want that. You got arms though. You got arms. You got muscle right there. Anyways,
Wow.
God bless.
Very buff deer.
That's a very buff deer, exactly. All right, SPRU, by the way, volume is starting to really creep up to the float. Volume is now 12.66 million as opposed to 8 million that it was before. Float is 15.56 million, so the volume is starting to creep up a little bit. It's starting to creep up. and catch up to SPRU. SPRU's all right, and now the volume is now 13.24 million. So it is climbing. It is starting to climb a little bit.
It
A
is.
little bit of climbing. A little bit of climbing going on. A little bit of climbing. All right. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
All that good stuff.
that's what we got going on right there. SPRU currently climbing up with the volume. The volume is starting to climb up
All right.
and meets the float. The volume is now 14.27 million. Float is just chilling right there. In fact, let me make sure this is nice and refreshed over here so we can see what's going on. Let's see what's going on over here. Boom. SPRU. Oh, it's loading. It's loading, ladies and gentlemen. It's loading. There we go. All right, but right now SPRU seems to be climbing its way on up a little bit with the in terms of volume. Yes, sir. It does seem to be climbing its way on up a little bit. Bop right there. All right, look at that. See that? It is still climbing its way on up. Yep. Now it's 15 million and change, but the float is still a bit higher. Still a little bit higher, but can it keep going? Can it keep going? Let's see.
Yes, sir.
SPRU still moving up a little bit.
SPRU.
It is. It is moving up a little bit. Again, they have news that they signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar agreement to sell renewable energy credits in New Jersey. So they got that going on right there. That is what they got going on. SPRU currently climbing its way on up. The volume has just exceeded the float. It's 15.63 million for the volume. Float is 15.56 million. So the volume is climbing up even more. Looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Looking good.
Yes.
Now it's got a higher volume than the float. So that makes it nice and schmexy. Obviously, there needs to be more volume. Still, can never go wrong with more volume. Can never go wrong. Can never go wrong. Yes, sir. Can never go wrong. Now the volume is 16.1 million. There we go. Volume is still climbing its way on up. It's still climbing its way on up right there, but it does have a bit of a top tail. DBL moms, we don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. The bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. We do like the bottom tails.
Yes, we do.
Yeesh. All right. Let's see.
You have to get up and go.
All right.
Yes.
But that's what we got going on right there. SPRU currently starting to try and climb its way on up, but it is reaching a bit of a tough spot here. So let's get some support and resistance lines going over here. Let's see. Boom and boom right there. Right there. All right. So we got SPRU has support at 113, 127, 139, 146, 154, and 164. And then it's got resistance at 180, ladies and gentlemen. Has resistance at 180. So support is at 164, climbing its way on up. Has to break through that 180 mark over there for it to be so much maxi to me. Otherwise, it's just man. You'll see when you know what I mean. You feel me? You feel me? There we go. They also have news that Spruce Power is to sell renewable energy resources in New Jersey. And the shares rise pre-bell. Yes. Yes, the shares are rising pre-bell. And, of course, it has to hold above that 164 mark, break through that 180 for it to be somewhat schmexy. Tumya. You know what I mean? Tumya. Yeesh. So we'll see what happens with this stock. Let's see what happens with it. Let's take a look at something else. In the meantime, let's take a look at something else here. What else do we got? Let's take a look at DATS. DATS seems to be moving a little bit. Yeah, let's see what's going on with it. DATS. Delta Alpha Tango Sierra. Delta Alpha Tango Sierra. Let's see. Ooh, very choppy. Very choppy. Very choppy. Up 14%, ladies and gentlemen. Up 14%. Let's see what they got going on over here. They have news that DatChat, which is the name of the company, rebrands to Myzeum Inc. to align with a primary strategic focus on social group media sharing and content preservation. And of course, it has an 8K as well as some insider buying news, so that's pretty good. But let's take a look at that float volume. The float is 3.89 million, relatively reasonable float, but the volume is 27,000. So, man, not feeling that. It is on a nice uptrend, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give it that. It is on a nice uptrend, but it has a top tail going on, and already right off the bat, double top going on right over here. So now it's no longer on that uptrend. Has a double top right at the 264 mark. So, not feeling that, ladies and gentlemen. Not feeling that. Let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at another stonk over here. MRM. Let's take a look at MRM. Let's see what MRM is doing. Again, we did a video last night about MRM, which has since had a nice high of 102%. Had a nice high of 102%, but it still seems to be somewhat, moving downward a little bit. A little bit of downward movement. Not feeling that too much. Not feeling that too much. Looks like it's trying to curl, though. It's trying to bounce off that 183 support line, break through 201 resistance line now. And then, of course, it has to break through 222 and then 257 for it to be so much messy. Yeah. MRM has actually has news that Metarom joined the World Network, embracing next generation proof of human concept led by ChatGPT creator Sam Altman, which came out, by the way, yesterday. So that's what they got going on there. That is what they got going on. Again, the stunk looks like it's trying to curl up, but it was leaning a bit more towards the oversold section of the RSI. It is still below the VWAP, so we'll see what happens with the stunk. Has to hold above 183 and break through 201, and then break through 222 and then 257 for it to really be so much smexy to me. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's share it up. Let's share it up. Share it up. Share it up. There we go. Let's get it. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen.
Share, everybody.
Yeah, let's share. Share it up. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Let's see. All right, LZ seems to be moving up a little bit, but LZ also has a very high float, but we'll check it out anyway. Let's check it out. Lima Zulu. Let's see what they got going on. All right, this is, it's Legal Zoom. I've seen that company. All right, LZ had a non-GAAP EPS of 15 cents, in line revenue with of 192.5 million, beats by 10.01 million. So they got that going on right there. They have a general form of quarterly reports under section 13 or 15D in the form of a form 10Q, as well as some rising after getting a double upgrade from BOFA. So they got that Bank of America, really, but yeah. So that's what they got going on. That's what they got going on right there. Very choppy, though. Very, very choppy. Very choppy. Very choppy. I mean, it did have a bit of an uptrend. A little bit of an uptrend over here. Boom, right over there. Bop and bop right there. All right. And then, of course, it had a bit of a descending wedge over right there. So that's what it's got going on. That is what it's got going on right there. All right, a little bit of a pennant, actually. A little bit of a pennant. Has to break through the pennant for it to be so much smexy to mya. But it was a bit overbought in the RSI earlier throughout the day. Now it has gone below that, but it is still pretty. It's moving up and down and up and down and up and down a little bit on the RSI. So we'll see what happens with that. We shall see what happens there. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Let's take a look at that float and volume, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Let's see. So the float is 125 million, which is very heavy. Not feeling that. But the volume is 346,000, which I'm also not feeling. So you got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at something else. ATNF, Alpha Tango November Foxtrot. Let's see what they got going on. Very choppy as well over here. Very choppy. Let's see what they got going on here. Let's see what they got in terms of float and volume. Let's see what they got in terms of float and volume. Yes, in terms of float and volume. Let's see what they got in terms of float and volume right here. So the float is 3.73 million. Volume is 125,000. So, not feeling it, ladies and gentlemen. Not feeling that. Not feeling it. Nope. Not feeling that very much. Not feeling it. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? ATNF currently doing its thing right there. Very choppy. So float is higher than the volume. Not feeling that too much. It is on a bit of an uptrend, but again, it's one of those things where I kind of don't really trust it because it's very, 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 very choppy. Very choppy. Low volume. The float is there, but the float is float. Volume is volume. And also to top it off, it looks like it's forming a bit of a top tail. DBM moms, we don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. And it's forming a bit. Yes, and it is forming a bit of a double bottom over here, a double top over here at $4.14. So we'll see what happens. Has to break through that for it to really be so much mexy to me. Let's check out something else. Let's check out something else. Oscar Romeo India Sierra, ORIS. Let's see what they got going on. ORIS had a nice run up 110%. This morning we did a video on it. Now it's currently up 99%. Can it potentially curl? Maybe. It did just break through that support line right there. It broke through the support line at 17 cents. Has to break through 20 for it to really be so much mexy to me. You know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like it's trying to curl its way on up. Curl. There we go. All right, and that's what we got going on right there. ORIS up 99%. Had a nice high of 110%. We did a video on it this morning, ladies and gentlemen. You can check that out by checking out the link, by checking out our lovely YouTube, by going to find us at Coaching Money.
Yes.
Finding us at Coaching Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
At Coaching Money. Yes, there we go. My mom's a little zoned out. She's like, woo, okay. Yeesh. So,
Yes.
at Coaching Money.
At Coach Nick Money.
At Coaching Money. There we go. That's where you find it. So that's what we do there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we do. All right. ORIS looks like it's trying to break through that 98% point right there. Hitting 99, has to break through 100 and then go to 110 and break through that. Has to hold above that 17-cent mark over there and break above that 20-cent mark for it to really be so much maxi to me.
Right.
Yes, sir. That's what we got going on.
That's what we got going on.
Right now, it looks like it's slowly making its way on up. Let's see the float and volume. Let's take a look at the float and the volume. Let's take a look at that float and volume. Let's see. Float is 12.3 million. Volume is 390 million. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. It's still moving its way on up. It is moving its way on up. It hit 100% already. All right. It did hit 100%. It did hit that. All right. It has to break through that 110% mark. So it's still climbing its way on up. It's still climbing. It's still climbing a little bit. It is a China stock, though. I don't really trust that. But you know what? Other than that, it's whatever. Right? Yeah, ORIS, again, hit that 110% mark. Has to break through it. Has to break through it for it to be so much mexy to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. So, that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on here. ORIS still trying to move, but it is forming a bit of a top tail. DBL moms, we don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. We do. Yes, sir. We like the bottom tails. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Share it up. Let's share it up, ladies and gents. Yeah. Share with your robot, like Ray-Ban said earlier. Share it with your robot. Yes. Share it with... Oh. ATNF? All right. Okay. All right, let's take a look at ATNF. In the meantime, Alpha Tango November Foxtrot. There we go. Looks like it's shooting its way on up. Wow, okay, it just shot up like crazy. All right, I mean, up 35%. Again, let me check out that floating volume. Let me see that floating volume. Let me see. The float is 3.73 million. Volume is 490,000. So again, volume still needs to climb up and meet it, but right now it is on a bit of an uptrend. That is pretty good. That's pretty good, but again, it's one of those things where it does need some more volume. Needs more volume for it to be so much mexy to me. Otherwise, it's man, you know what I mean? Has a top tail going on over here. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails. Looks like it's still climbing its way on up. It's still climbing its way on up. So we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, right now, very low volume, but can that change? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Could potentially change. Maybe. We shall see what happens here. We shall see. All right. Right now, it's doing its thing right here. It is still doing its thing.
Yes.
ATNF. There we go. Climbing its way on up. Trying to break through the 480 mark right there. You know what? Let's get some support and resistance lines for this stunk. Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. Let's get some support and resistance lines. Bop right there and bop right there. So it's got support at 335, 367, 392, 409, 427, and 448. Has to break through that 483 mark for it to be so much maxi to me. Yeesh. Climbing its way on up right now to 494. All right. It's climbing its way on up there. Let's see what happens. All right. It's got a new high now. Has to hold above that 457 mark, break through 494 for it to really be so much maxi to me. Come on now. Come on now. Again, doesn't have much in terms of volume, but that's okay. It can it continue to climb? We shall see. We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. All right. Let's see over here. All right. Currently has to hold above 457, break through that 494.
Yeah.
Yeesh. So that's what they got going on over here.
Yes, you do.
All right. Has to break through this tiny little bit of resistance over here at 483. So it has to do that, ladies and gentlemen. It has to break through that 483 mark as well, and then break through 494. So it has to do that. There's a little bit of resistance over there, a little bit of resistance. So we'll see what happens there. Can it break through? Maybe. Looks like it's trying to. Looks like it's trying to knock there, but it keeps, now it's going down there. It has to hold above that 457. Has to hold above that 457. In the meantime, though, looks like it's testing 457. Not liking that too much. Let's take a look at WETO. Let's take a look at WETO. Whiskey Echo Tango Oscar. Yes, sir. All right. Very, very choppy on WETO as well. Not a lot going on in terms of volume. I can tell just by looking at it over here. Float is 21.98 million, so that's a little bit. That's a very heavy float. Volume is 40,000, so not feeling that one too much in terms of the volume. Has a bit of a top tail going on. We don't like the top tails. Do we, my moms? We like the bottom tails. Yes, exactly. Sir. We do. Plus, this is a China stock, so I don't really trust it too much. Not very trustworthy of the China stocks because they pop and then they drop. But it does have news. It has news that WeBus International launches an XRP token and Ripple US dollar stablecoin payments on its WeTour platform. So they got that going on right there. Again, the float is 21.98 million. That's the float. The volume is 52,000. So, not feeling that one too much. Not feeling that one too much. Let's see what else we got here. What else do we have? Let's see. Let's see. MRM. Let's take a look at MRM. MRM. Looks like it's going back down a little bit. Not feeling that. Let's take a look at LZ. Boom. All right. Looks like it's trying to break above that pennant right there. Currently at $11.07. We shall see what happens with this stunk. Right now it is up 32%. 32%. All right. Legal zoom. Again, very heavy on the float, if I remember correctly, and the volume is very, very light, so not feeling that one too much either. But it did rise after getting a double upgrade from Bank of America, so you got that going on. Yeesh. So WETO, let's take a look at that again because it seems to be doing some stuff. Again, China stock, not a lot of volume, so not really trusting it too much. But it is on its way upward right now. It is on a nice little uptrend over here. So can it potentially move? Maybe. But it's one of those things right now where it's moving up, but it doesn't have much in terms of the volume department. Float is a little bit heavy at 21.98 million. Volume is 292,000. So volume's creeping up a little bit, but it's got a ways to go before it even matches the float. Right. All right. And again, WETO does have news that WeBus International, which is the name of the company, launches an XRP token and Ripple US dollar stablecoin payments on its WeTour platform. Again, China stock, so I'm not entirely trusting of it. And you see right there, it just made a top tail. We don't like the top tails, DBL moms. We like the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. We do. So that's what we got going on there. That is what we got going on there. Let's get a share party going. Let's keep it going over there, ladies and gentlemen. Share it with your dolphin. Share it with your whale. They ain't got hands. They ain't got hands, but they do have flippers. You know what I mean? So they'll hit the phone. Yes, sir.
They hit the phone.
Yes. Share with your electric eel. Just don't get electrocuted.
Okay.
Why not? Why not? Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's see. Let's check it on ORIS again one more time. Let's see. ORIS again. ORIS had a nice move up 110%. Did a video on it this morning, and we did a video on MRM last night. And MRM ran up 102%. ORIS ran up 110%. So that's pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what goes on there. We shall see. But yeah, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $1.99 as well. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because there are lots of baggers, lots of times, ladies and gentlemen. There are ORIS 110% and MRM ran up 102%. Did videos on both of those. We did the video on ORIS this morning prior to it running up 110%, and then we did another one on MRM last night prior to it running 102%, ladies and gentlemen. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yes. So, ORIS seems to be moving here, but needs to break above this 17-cent mark.
Right.
And break through that 20 mark as well. That 20-cent mark.
Yeah.
Yes, for it to be so much maxi to me. Yes, sir. All right. Let's get a share party going. All right. Let's see. Let's see here. All right. What else we got? No. Let's see here. Let's see here. ATNF. Let's take a look at ATNF. Let's see what they're doing. Alpha Tango November Foxtrot. Let's see what they're doing. Oh, steep drop. Not liking that one. Not liking that one. Let's take a look at SPRU. SPRU. Let's see. Ooh, all right. All right, SPRU had a bit of a double bottom over here. A little bit of a double bottom right here at the 148 mark. And then proceeded to curl its way on up over here. Can it potentially form maybe an ABCD? We'll check. Maybe. Could potentially do it. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Let's take a look at that float and volume, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at that float and volume. Float is 15.56 million. Volume is 26.97 million. So the volume's a lot higher than the float. That's good. That's always good. Can never go wrong with that. Has a bit of a top tail, though. We don't like the top tails, DBL moms. We like the bottom tails. And, of course, it has news that Spruce Power signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract agreement to sell renewable energy credits in New Jersey. And that made the shares actually rise pre-bell. So that's what we got going on there. Can it potentially curl? Has to hold above that 154 mark and break through that 164 mark for it to really be so much mexy to me there. And after that, has to break through that 180 mark as well. So there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is what's going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. 154. Got some movement there, ladies and gentlemen. 154. 154.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's it.
Yes. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for us, guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share. Because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out.
Right.
Pick a lot of baggers a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen. Just made different. Just made different. And the early bird gets the cash.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yeah. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on our YouTube, where we do lots of live streams, videos, video reviews. We even did videos on ORIS this morning and MRM last night. You can check those out at Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money on YouTube. At Coaching Money on YouTube. And you can find us on X.com, a.k.a. Twitter, where we do lots of live streaming, as well as some stunk reviews and stunk, checking out the stunk market.
Yes.
Do a lot of that. At Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money. You can find us there at Coaching Money. And you can also find us on Twitch, where we do lots of live streaming at Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money.
At Coaching Money. And you can find us on TikTok, Tiki Taki, a.k.a. the Tac Tac. The Tac Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks.
At DBL Nicks.
At DBL NICKS. And the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it, guys. Much love. I'll see you on Monday. Have a wonderful day.
Have
An
a
even
great day,
better
guys.
weekend, man. Hope you guys do amazing. Make a lot of money. Be greenable, ladies and gents. And remember, we called quite a few baggers, ladies and gentlemen. We called ORIS. Did a video on it on YouTube this morning. So check out that YouTube video. We did it. It ran up a nice 110%. We did a video last night on MRM, 102%. Ran 102% since then. Very nice, very nice.
Okay.
That was all on YouTube, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so be sure to like, comment, subscribe there. We got some runners, CLIK, 40%, BTBD, 38%, SOUX, 52%, SGBX, 49%, and BINI, 26% there. So that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. So that's pretty much it. Take care. Much love. All right. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day and even better tomorrow. Spend time with your friends. Spend time with your family. Enjoy your weekend. Make a lot of money today. Enjoy that weekend. Then we back at it again with the hustle on Monday morning. I'll see you on Monday, ladies and gentlemen.
See you Monday,
Love you guys. See you on Monday.